everyone, welcome back. I'm Melissa Pineda, and today I will be discussing the book The Anabasis by Xenophon. Why listen to my review on this book? Well, I'm going to briefly tell you about arguably, one of the coolest books that you will ever read. That's why. So Xenophon wrote this book in 400 BC, and he depicts a battle, and he talks about a battle that took place 80 years after the Battle of Thermopylae. Now, that battle was depicted by the movie, or in the movie 300. And if you recall, that movie was awesome. The Battle of Thermopylae was between the Persian Empire under Xerxes I and an alliance of Greek city-states led by Sparta. And basically Sparta was led by Leonidas I. So that was the movie 300 that depicted that battle, and this battle took place 80 years after that battle. So this book takes place after Persia successfully invades Greece. So now the Persian Empire is basically the biggest empire in the world. And the Anabasis is the recounting of the march of 10,000 mercenaries from the heart of Persia back to Greece. So the Anabasis talks about the battle that took place in 400 BC between two Persian leaders. The one Persian leader was the actual leader of the Persian Empire at the time. So his name was Artaxerxes, and his brother was actually challenging him. And his brother was Cyrus the Younger, and he wanted to be the ruler of the Persian Empire. So he went ahead and hired 10,000 mercenaries, and he went to battle against his brother. They actually won, but he died. And so now you have 10,000 Greek mercenaries stranded, essentially, no money, no food, nothing, in the heart of Persia, heart of hostile territory, and they had to find their way out. So they ended up electing Xenophon to lead them back home. And so the Anabasis is basically the story of the march of 10,000 Greek mercenaries from the heart of Persia home. And it talks about their miraculous trek back through everything, through like constant attack. They were constantly under hostile attack. They had to go through jungles, deserts. Many froze to death. It was an incredible journey, all documented by Xenophon, who was just their elected leader. And he was just another man. He was a philosopher. He was a warrior. And he knew Plato, just a really interesting character. And so this book wasn't written to be a book. It was written as his personal memoirs, as his personal recounting of his experience. So this book has actually been studied by the military, by countless military leaders as well. Some big ones, big names, General Lee, Napoleon. So this book was studied for its tactics, its strategies. Xenophon was arguably one of the best military leaders and came up with different strategies and tactics that are actually still used by different militaries today. So it's really impressive. And again, this was just like his own notes on what he experienced and his tactics and things that he came up with to succeed. And he did. And he ended up bringing his men home. This epic trek took about a year with many casualties. And approximately 3,000 to 4,000 men died on this journey. But it is looked at as arguably the first military autobiography and one of the most epic tales recounting something that actually happened by the leader of this mercenary army. So it's pretty remarkable, and some major themes that are found throughout this book, and some of the reasons why basically this book has been studied for so many centuries is because of these themes. So survival, leadership, perseverance, virtue, honor, like the idea of teamwork, working together. Xenophon was just another man. He wasn't he didn't separate himself from the rest of his men. At one point, for Xenophon, of course, this is like him recounting the story, but he recounts how the men didn't have horses to ride on anymore. He still had his horse, so he killed his horse so that he could walk with his men. Things like that. These themes that still ring true today and that are still studied for this very reason. Also, one of the really cool things about this particular version of the book, which I will be putting a link to in my description, is that I had the pleasure and the honor of editing the introduction to it. So I'm going to leave it there. It really is an incredible read. Anything autobiographical I find extremely interesting, but this is one of the coolest stories ever recounted. As mentioned, I included the link in the description. And if there's anything you've heard today that you find interesting or have liked, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for listening. Until next time.